Welcome to my unboxing of a card that's actually very exciting. This is the MSI Radeon 7870 Hawk. Now, if you know anything about MSI Hawk Edition cards, you know basically that they are badass because they just completely overbuild these cards, and they're actually not that much more expensive than a regular one. Now, when you factor in also that the 7870 is already a terrific value and a great overclocker, and Hawk Edition cards are all about overclocking and not costing that much more, yes, I am very excited about this card. So, it comes with a 3-year warranty in USA and Canada and Mexico. Incidentally, if you live in Vancouver, there's a local RMA depot, which is really handy because you just go in and you can basically walk in instead of shipping. Comes with GPU reactor, ready for 3D Mark 11, which basically just means it's a DirectX 11 card. Military Class 3 concept. Once again, I'm talking about overbuilding. That's what I mean. MSI Afterburner, up to 85% overclocking. Okay, well, come on. MSI Afterburner software is obviously included and supported. Unlocked digital power. So this, again, comes into the overbuilding the card aspect of things. Here we go. There's a stealth fighter or bomber or something. Breaking world records with unlocked digital power. Okay, so unlocked BIOS. Digital Pwm Controller, enhanced power design for best overclocking stability as top solution on HD 7870 graphics cards. I believe it based on past Hawk card experience. One click to unlock all the protections, including overcurrent protection, disable active phase switching, higher catalyst control center range, and a higher power tune range. That's awesome. Remember guys, power tune keeps your board within a certain power threshold. All reference boards have it from both vendors these days for the latest generation products, these power throttles that are built into the cards. Just turn it off. Fantastic. Great for overclockers. Digital Pwm Controller, so more stable and precise voltage by a digital signal. Okay. Enhanced power design, equipped with 8 phases for the GPU and 2 phases for memory and 1 phase for VDDC. Military Class 3 components, including copper MOSFETs, highly conductive capacitors, golden solid-state chokes. I don't know that the gold coating actually increases performance, but it looks cool. Dark solid capacitors with a special coating for anti-rust protection. Interesting. So I guess if you're in a fairly humid environment, that would be a definite factor. Okay, 3x3 OC kits. Must-have features for extreme overclockers. V-check points. Agreed, 100%. You can use a multimeter to read the actual values. Triple over voltage. Must. Again, a total must. Triple temp monitors, able to monitor the GPU memory and VRM. Awesome. Okay, what else we got in here? Dual 8cm PWM fans, super pipe technology with 8mm heat pipes, dual 4-in-1 heat sinks, nickel-plated copper base, propeller blade technology, which in theory gives you better airflow as well as making dust less likely to accumulate in the heatsink. So the fans spin in reverse on startup, which removes the dust before it actually starts cooling it, which is very, very cool. And I've learned to trust MSI's claims with respect to thermal performance. So they're saying up to 15 degrees cooler than a reference and up to 5 decibels quieter than a reference. Actually, that's probably conservative, especially when you're overclocking. Once you start overclocking, their Twin Frozer coolers just destroy the reference coolers on both the AMD and the NVIDIA side. So in terms of included accessories, we've got a DVI to VGA adapter, 2 dual Molex to 6-pin PCIe connectors, as well as a mini DP to full-size DisplayPort adapter. We've also got our V-checkpoint pieces, so these plug into the V-checkpoints on the card, and these plug into your multi-monitor leads. We have, okay, something. Oh, no way! Find the GPU reactor card and have the obverse side of the card turned upward as illustrated to check the correct installation orientation first. You know what, we're going to have to find out more about this GPU reactor. So GPU reactor basically increases the voltage stability and reduces ripple to the GPU for extreme overclocking. It is not required for air or even water operation, but if you want to throw liquid nitrogen or dry ice at the problem, then it's probably recommended to use it. We've got a driver disk, throw away that, download the latest off the AMD website. Quick user guide and certificate of quality and stability. Now, I've always kind of laughed at these certificates that get included with cards before, because I actually didn't know what steps get thrown into something like Military Class 3. I actually happen to have a slide deck over here that includes all of the different tests. So there's temperature shock test, which is done in a chamber. There's the rainy day indoor humidity test, vibration test, low pressure test, high temperature test, low temperature test, for liquid nitrogen cooling. Bam. And shock test. That is where the certificate of quality and stability comes from. Now that's not to say that they take the card and like drop it and that's like a, you know, falling down test. No, it's more to do with the components that went into the card than the actual finished end user product itself. And of course, being a Hawk Edition card, it looks ballin' out. So we've got dual 80mm PWM fans. Once again, this is with their dust reduction, spin the other way for a little bit and then spin this way technology. The shroud is made of aluminum, looks very, very nice. We've got a beast-looking aluminum cooler, so you can see it stretches all the way from here, all the way past the back of the end of the PCB. So that is an enormous amount of cooling surface area. You can see the super pipes here. So these are more like normal heat pipes, 1, 2, 3. The super pipes are at the ends, and the reason for that is you can see the GPU right there. All the heat pipes are positioned directly over the GPU itself. And these ones are bigger because they have to carry heat more efficiently because they're going further away. That is what's going to make all of the area that the fans cover cool the card as effectively as possible. So these super pipes go into the thickest area of the heatsink that is further away, that is right next to the fan, so it's getting a very significant amount of airflow. Now the fans don't only cool the GPU itself, but because there's no barrier between the fins themselves and the card, you can see clearly that there is a heat spreader covering the entire card, and then all of that incidental airflow is going to cool the PWM components, the RAM. You can see the thermal material that is between the memory and the heat spreader itself. You can also see the gold-plated, oh wow, those look so cool. Can you see that? That is awesome. Slick, can you give me a nod or a nay? Slick says yes. Slick says those are amazing. Okay, just... oh man, see, I'm like not letting you guys look at it because like I'm trying to see them better. Sorry, moving on. So cool. Okay, moving on to the back of the board. Here is the GPU reactor thingamabobber right here, so it can actually be removed. Warning, be noted that any improper installation of GPU reactor card may cause damage to the card. So just... okay, give me a sec here, guys. I'm going to try and figure out how to do this. Sorry, I just had to press a little bit harder. So what's cool is you can actually turn it either way. So if you happen to have like an upside down ATX case, you could like turn it the other way so that it's still right side up MSI. Oh, and there's LEDs in here too, so it's going to light up. So this is the GPU reactor board, which as I mentioned, increases the stability. See, they can only cram so many components on the back of the GPU itself to have, you know, to control the voltage that goes to the various parts of the chip. MSI said, no, not enough. We need more. So they built this guy right here, which plugs in. So you can, I hope you guys can see that. Plugs into those two slots. You may want to make sure you don't put it on wrong, because I'm sure that would deliver all the wrong voltages everywhere. And then you cover it up with this thing. Obviously this thing isn't necessarily crossfire ready, because it makes the back of the card on top of the backplate itself. It bulges out a little bit more. So if you were slot to slot, then it wouldn't really work that well. But as long as you're running a single card or dual cards with lots of spacing, that is just awesome. Speaking of which, there's a backplate on the card itself. So the aesthetics of it are very, very sleek looking. So you can see even the heat spreader here over the front of the card, the Unisync, comes out like this and just has like a very nice look to it. MSI logo on the top. This still uses dual 6-pin PCIe connectors. Remember, this is a 28 nanometer GPU, so it's not like it's... even in an extreme overclocking scenario, you're not going to run into the need for more than dual 6-pins, and I'm personally not a huge believer that an 8-pin can deliver that much more power than a 6-pin in a real-world scenario, on account of it's just 2 more ground pins. Correct me if I'm wrong. Pci Express 3.0 is of course included. This is a new generation card, a 7000 series card, so that is a given, although once again I'm not 100% sure that the bandwidth increase is necessarily that significant in a real-world scenario. There's our V checkpoint, so you use those little dongles right there, you plug those all in, and then you can connect to whichever ones you want to measure your true voltages in real time. So they're labeled memory, PLL, and GPU. Memory, PLL, and GPU. Okay, let's have a look at the back of the card. So it supports up to 4 displays right out of the box. 2 through DVI HDMI, and 2 through mini DisplayPort. Now, if you can daisy chain them, I believe you can support up to something like 6 displays by doing 2 monitors per DisplayPort, but most monitors don't have support for that functionality just yet anyway. Support for Crossfire is limited to 2-way configurations because there is only one Crossfire connector. And I think that pretty much covers it. So it comes clocked at 1.1 gigahertz. So even though it says gigahertz edition on the box or something like that, what they really mean is gigahertz and more edition. This is a hot card. It is pre-overclocked and comes with ample headroom for additional overclocking. Thank you for checking out my unboxing of the 7870 Hawk Edition. And don't forget to subscribe to Linus Tech Tips for more unboxings, reviews, and other computer videos.